100 on your 100th test. On a personal note, that must feel very special.
Yeah, very special. Last night, the guys actually put a little surprise together for me. Said, I've got some videos from some past players, some friends and family, and Ben in particular stood up and said some really kind words. Then to come today and for us to start the series in the way that we have it couldn't have gone any better. About a little blip at the end there. So really hope that we can build on that tomorrow, and obviously delighted with how things have gone personally.
It's been an incredible start to the year for you. Do you feel like you're playing the best cricket of your career at the moment?
I certainly feel like I'm in some good form, and I need to make sure I cash in on it. I think over the course of my career, I've not always gone on and made really big scores. So for me to be going and doing that currently is really pleasing. And the challenge will be, if I keep getting myself in positions to make big hundreds, then I've got to keep taking them, and we're going to win more games if I'm doing that. So hopefully I can kick on tomorrow personally, but most importantly, we can have a better day than today, or match it, and then we can be in a really strong position in this game.
And finally, for me, are you doing anything differently, do you feel, at the moment? Or is it just the fact that you're playing spin, you're doing what you did before, but you're just doing it more consistently? I don't know. What's changed?
I've worked on a few technical things. I've looked at a few areas of my game, looked at certain trends of how I was getting out at certain times in my innings, and tried to eradicate it, tried to improve things and evolve as a player. And at the minute it seems to be working nicely, and the challenge will be, can I continue to keep trying to get better all the time?
Joe, how are you?
Simon Mark.
Joe, how are you feeling physically? You went down with cramp after hitting that six, and you were helped by Virat Kohli. Are you ready for more tomorrow?
Yeah, I'll be ready for more tomorrow. It was a little bit of cramp, which was a bit frustrating. Very kind of Virat to help me out. Good sportsmanship from him, as you'd expect from him. But yeah, it was just felt like quite a long day, and I'm going to have to fuel up well tonight, get some fluids and food on board, and sleep well.
Can you compare the degree of difficulty between batting in the Sri Lanka series, where you've scored lots of runs, and batting out there today? How would you compare the two?
Different challenges. I think in Sri Lanka there was obviously a little bit more lateral movement, more spin, side spin, whereas here it was more trying to counter the bounce initially against the spinners, and obviously challenging the reverse swing from the seamers. So it was very different, and it's always difficult to try and put two against each other.
What about the surface? I mean, does it feel like a sort of 400, 450, 500 sort of pitch? I mean, is it good enough to go on and make a huge score?
I think we've got to look to try and get as many as we can, 600, 700 if we can. Really try and make the most of the first innings, make it while it's good, and those footholds are starting to wear quite quickly. So if we can bat into the whole of tomorrow and maybe into day 3, then things could speed up quite quickly for us, and you never know what can happen from that point onwards. But ultimately, we've got to try and back up today. It's been a really impressive start to things, but we've got to make it count now. And that's going to be the challenge for this too. We said we need to make big first innings runs. We've said we need to bat long periods of time in these conditions. Can we go and do it? And that's all the focus will be going into tomorrow.
And what about Dom Sibley? Finally, from me, disappointing for him right at the end there. But is that what you're looking for from Dom Sibley at the other end?
Yeah, I thought that was a fantastic innings today. To come out of Sri Lanka with maybe a few question marks in his own mind about his game against spin, and for him to go and put a performance early on in this series like that together against a high quality attack, dealing with reverse swing as well, was really impressive, and he should take a lot of heart and confidence from that into the rest of the series. But it was, I really did feel for him. He deserved 100 tonight, tomorrow morning. But that's what happens when you play against good players. They can take wickets late on in the day, and the challenge will be to try and better that partnership that we got together, try and better that tomorrow.
Thanks, Simon. We'll go with Dean Wilson and then Rory Dollard, please.
Yeah, hi Joe. Congratulations on the innings. They say that big players perform best in big moments. Was there ever any thought in your mind that there was a lot of pressure on you, bearing in mind what you'd done in the first 2 games of the year, first test against India, just a lot of expectation on your shoulders? Are you pleased with the way that you kind of cope with that?
Yeah, I mean, I knew coming into it, I'm feeling in good touch, and the game feels in a good place. And you've got to make the most of that. So I walked out there was a little bit of reverse, and it's really important that you start well against that. And more than anything, I just tried to build a partnership, try and work my way through that initial spell. I know that if I can just spend time out there, things will get easier, and just slowly try and construct an innings together and much risk out of the game as possible. And thankfully, that all materialised nicely.
And without going into too much detail, I mean, just a little bit on what Ben said to you last night. You mentioned it in a couple of interviews. Did that really touch you and give you a bit of inspiration today?
Yeah, it did. I remember that for I think that should stay between the two of us and the group. But Ben's he's a fine human being, and it was really nice of him to go out his way to say some very special things that I'll hold dear forever.
Thank you.
Okay, Rory, then John Etheridge, please.
Hi, Joe. Congratulations. I was just going to pick up the thread really from Dean there, actually. I know you've been there and done that, and you've seen just about everything there is to see. But just watching the TV here, it seemed like at the toss there was a little bit of a frog in the throat. Did you find yourself quite emotional after all the stuff that's been said this morning and last night?
Yeah, I was a little bit emotional. I couldn't even remember our team when they asked me about it, so I was a little bit all over the place. But thankfully, when I got out there, I knew it was business as normal and I had a job to do. But the guys have made it very special for me, and I really appreciate everything they've done. It's been it's been an amazing 2 days. So it'd be nice if we can really make this brilliant start count now, and we can build on what's a brilliant first day.